Hi guys, it's me, Gabby Dunn, one half of this channel. My hair is blue now, pretty exciting. This week on the show, we have Amber Bragg, who is my sister-in-law who had the Navy pay for her medical school. And we have Patricia Roberts from giftofcollege.com. And we're going to be talking all about employers and ways in which you can get your tuition paid or your loans paid by working for some place. So here are some clips from the episode, and the link for the episode will be in the description. I hope you enjoy it, and I hope this is helpful. Okay, bye!
When you realized that you wanted to be a doctor, did you look at any other ways of paying for it?
Oh, absolutely. I did not come from a family of means. My family was not going to be able to put me through even undergrad. And so I had to find alternative ways. And so I looked for anybody and everybody that was handing out money.
And how did you land on the military?
I think like a lot in your life, it's timing, right? Right place, right time, right person. So the options I was looking at weren't going to fully pay for things. And so I was still going to end up with a lot of loans on the back end. And I was, kind of looking for something that wasn't going to still require me to have a ton of loans. And it kind of just worked out. I was the first person in my family that had joined the military other than, grandparents who had been drafted. So it was kind of totally out there. And my family was, I think, shocked at first, but then they were probably happy they didn't have to help me foot the bill in the long run. So they were very supportive.
So what was the split, or what was the payment? Like what was the Navy offering?
So, and this is 98, 99. So long time ago. And I know the program has since changed. But whenever I was going through, you had I think they had a 2-year, 3-year, and a 4-year scholarship option. And so basically, they would pay your tuition, your books, and fees for whatever years you signed up for, and then you owed them that amount in return. And so I signed up for the 4-year because medical school is 4 years. And I thought, if I'm going to be doing this and having a commitment on the back end of my time, like, why am I going to only have them pay for a portion? And it still didn't pay for everything because, as I'm sure your astute listeners know, higher education is astronomically expensive. Yeah. And so even with them paying, tuition and fees, I still had a lot of out-of-pocket costs, but it was certainly much more manageable than if I were, just going it alone.
So you were in school, you finished school, and then what happens?
So when you're in medical school and in this particular program, which is called the Health Professions Scholarship Program, they pretty much leave you alone. You do have to do some online things, and you do have to go do a 6-week boot camp, officer boot camp for one summer. But beyond that, they pretty much leave you alone. And then day one, when you graduate from medical school, you are governmental property. And you are until your commitment is up. And so for a physician, that means you go on to internship, which is kind of a pre-residency training. It's kind of the worst year that everybody dreads as a physician. It's pretty unpleasant. So you do that, and then the Navy splits off a little bit different from some of the other branches in that they want to get their pound of flesh out of you early. And so they will actually send you right after internship off to deployments and operational billets and things like that. So you basically come out of med school, you have your 1 year of internship, and then you're taking care of people, which it's daunting, but at the same time, it makes you grow up very quickly as a physician. And, it certainly, it's a challenging environment, but in the long run, I think it's great. It made me who I am. But certainly, no money is free money, right? So even though they were paying for my school, now they own me and my time and what I can wear and what I can say and down to what color nail polish I can have, what my hair looks like. So it's certainly not free money.
So what are some of those benefits? What are some of the ways that employers can help?
There are a number of really great ways for employers to help with these higher education expenses. One is to offer help with the cost of tuition. Oftentimes employers have tuition reimbursement plans, and those are great in that the employee chooses what form of education they're interested in pursuing, and pursuant to some plan that the employer has in place, they can get a certain amount of the cost reimbursed under certain circumstances. Perhaps you need to have a B or better as the grade, or it's got to, maybe in some cases it has to be related to your job, other cases not. That's one way. So that's a tuition reimbursement plan. Another way, which is you've seen in the news probably a lot more lately, is some employers, I think Walmart is an example, are outright paying for higher education. They are allowing employees to take courses at designated institutions or institutions that they've aligned with, online or otherwise, and they are providing the cost. So the employee is not laying out any money. It's the employer that's covering it in full. Another way, so a third way employers can help, is to repay or help an employee repay student loan debt that they've taken out before coming to the employer, or while they're at the employer for that matter. And there was a change at year end last year, first under the CARES Act of 2020, and then under the Consolidated Appropriations Act at year end 2020, that now allows employers to repay up to $5,250 a year per employee, tax-free. And that provision is in effect till January 1, 2026. So many employers, I know, and many employers, Gabby, don't know that they can help employees repay student loan debt tax-free for this 5-year period. And I'm trying to get the word out about that. Many employees don't know to ask their employer about this. And the way that comes about, I just want to be clear, is under these traditional tuition reimbursement plans, under Internal Revenue Code 127, Educational Assistance Program, sometimes more commonly called tuition reimbursement. We just talked about that a minute ago. Now those plans can be expanded to include student loan repayment. So it's really low-hanging fruit for any employer who already has an IRC 127 educational assistance plan for tuition reimbursement. They can now, with a simple amendment, amend that plan to allow for student loan repayment assistance. And it's pretty simple to do. If they don't have a plan in place already, they can put one in place. That's not that hard either. But it's important to know that there's this opportunity to have your student loan debt repaid by your employer, tax-free to you. And it's great for employers, Gabby, because employers, not only does the employee not have to pay tax on it, the employer doesn't have to pay tax or unemployment on those earnings, and it is a business tax deduction for employers. So now is the time. If an employer's been wondering about helping with student loan debt, now's the time to look into it. And I want to tell you 2 other ways that employers can help with higher education expenses. You know from my introduction that I am an expert with 529 college savings plans. I personally encourage employers to not only pay down student loan debt to the extent they are able to, but to help employees avoid it in the first place. And one of the best ways to avoid student loan debt is to learn how to save in advance for higher education expenses. And like nearly 65% of Americans don't know what a 529 plan is. So for an employer to provide education on 529 college savings plans, and then ideally maybe a match or a contribution to them to incent employees to get started, is a great way. And there are a growing number of employers that are starting to do that. They're educating their employees about 529 plans, and they're starting to help them save within it. Some are just doing a $100 one-time contribution. Others are doing $50 or $100 a month. But whatever it is, it's really helping them. And then there is one last way that employers can help, which is to, a lot of employers have, you may or may not be aware of this, but a lot of employers have these rewards and recognition programs. So if an employee goes above or beyond the call of duty, or they're there for 5 or 10 years, or perhaps they're welcoming a new addition to their household, the employer oftentimes gives a gift or a contribution to acknowledge whatever that achievement was. And employers are starting to now give a contribution to a college savings account or to a student loan account to acknowledge a job well done. My firm happens to have, I think you know I'm with a firm called Gift of College. We have gift cards that employers are buying and using for this very purpose. They are giving, if an employee has a baby or adopts a child, they are giving, instead of a silver spoon, or maybe in addition, they're giving a gift card to get them started with a 529 account. If an employee has gone above and beyond, oftentimes they have a gift card selection for an employee to pick from. Now they're putting our gift cards in. So an employee can select a payment toward a student loan or a payment toward a college account instead of something more traditional like a dinner at Applebee's or whatever is usually offered. Yeah. So those are 5 ways: the tuition reimbursement or outright payment, repaying student loan debt, saving for college with the 529, or offering like gift cards or other incentives for employees. Yeah.